Quick shout out to my patrons. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey y'all, it's Kate from Apothecary, and today we're doing my June wrap-up, my July TBR, and it's going to be a little bit different than you remember because I'm holding back on July and just trying to get caught up mostly. So first, let's talk about June. So in June, I read a total of 9 books. It felt like it was a lot less than that, but my numbers add up and it was 9 books. You'll notice when I go through the rankings that there's going to be one less book than that, and I'll talk about why in just a minute when I get to that book. So 9 books read. 5 of those books were 5-star books, so it was a 5-star strumpet month. 1 was 4.5, 1 was 4, and 1 was 3.5. So what were these books that I read? The Fortunes of Perkin Warbeck by Mary Shelley. That book I gave, I believe, 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was good. It was a historical fiction book about Perkin Warbeck, who was also one of the boys in the tower, the English legend. He went up against Henry VII and declared that he had the right to the English throne because Henry VII killed the rest of his family essentially and took the throne. And so the whole book is about him building up his base, his army behind him to go and try to reclaim the throne. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite Mary Shelley. There were some parts that I felt maybe dragged a little bit, got a little bit confusing with all of the different names going on and hard to keep track of who is who. But overall, I really enjoyed it. New Vision 7 Parallels. Now this is the book that I didn't rate because this was a book that I read as part of a book tour held by Eric at Breakeven Books, and Eric got so many messages about how badly this book was edited. A lot of people thought maybe we got the wrong version of the book because it was just so badly edited that Eric went and talked to the author and they decided to pull the book tour. So he said, you know, if you want to, you can review it still, but no obligations anymore. I have decided I'm not going to give a review for this because I usually try to keep my reviews as positive as I can in this book. Well, although I liked the premise, there was more negative than positive, and so that book is going to just kind of go away. And then I read 3 Moomin books: The Moomins in the Great Flood, Comet in Moominland, and Finn Family Moominland. These were all written by Tove Jansson, and this was my patron pick of the month, picked by Stacy and Anika. And I really, really enjoyed these books. These are kids' books, but they are so great. And they're the kinds of kids' books that, like, when Tove Jansson was writing about the parents, Moomin Mama and Moomin Papa, he had adults in mind because they say, like, the things that parents wish they could say to their kids, just like, you're annoying me, go out, get away for a while, don't come back until you're better. Moomin Mama says that, like, in one of the books, and it just made me laugh so much. I gave all of these books 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved them, and I can't wait to read more. And then I read How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days. This was a romance book. I listened to the audiobook because I needed a good audiobook to listen to while I was moving apartments and packing and unpacking and all that. And this hit the spot. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was good. It wasn't absolutely amazing, but it was a good, solid romance book. It was cute. I loved all the celebrity cameos as they try to follow Keanu Reeves around to different events. It was good, and I heard about it actually. Well, it was a book of the month pick, I believe, at one point. But what put it on my radar was Michael Knipp reviewed it on his channel because he picked it up randomly, the audiobook randomly, and he really, really enjoyed it. And so I was like, well, if Michael Knipp enjoys this romance, then it must be good. After that, I finished Kingdom Keepers #4 Power Play, which was good. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but it was still decent. It was still good, a solid book. And right now I'm in the middle of book 5, and that's even better. I finished Sunreach by Brandon Sanderson, which is the first novella in the Skyward series. This is kind of in the middle of that series. So we've got 2 novels, Skyward and Starsight, and then we have Sunreach, and then we have another novella, and then I believe Cytonic, and then a 3rd novella after that. This book I enjoyed so much. I also gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. I loved learning about the slugs and all their different names and their personalities and their special powers. It was just so much fun. And then the last book that I finished in June, assuming that I won't finish any of my current reads today, was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This book was, again, also so much fun. Also 5 out of 5 stars. I had so much fun reading this. I can't wait to read the rest of the series. Yeah, so that was the books that I read in June. Now, the books that I will not finish by the end of today, June 30th, so they're carrying over into July. Faulkner by Mary Shelley. This book is slow prose. It's slow going, but it's interesting. Basically, this orphan girl saved the life of this man who was trying to commit suicide, and he kind of adopted her into his family, and now he's essentially deathly ill, and she's trying to save him again, and that's where we're at so far. A Bad Business, short stories by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I am reading this along with Chrissy, Louis Dostoevsky in Space, Stephanie at Mr. Church Reads, Evie at She Was Only Evie, and Tiffany at Minute Beauty, A Beautiful Minute. We are hosting this read-along on the Codex Cantinas Discord, and I'll put the link in the description below. I'm enjoying this so far, although the story that I'm on right now, A Meat Creature, is very different than the first 2 stories, so we'll see how we get on. Also in the middle of Kingdom Keepers number 5, Shell Game. I hope to finish that this weekend. This one is better than the last book that I've read in this series, but still not my favorite, so we'll see where it goes. And then the book that I started yesterday, The Holy Grail War, The Hedgehog. I'm buddy reading this with my friend Kay at Kay's Hidden Shelf, and we've both been surprised by the prologue so far. So those are the books that are going to carry over into my June TBR. Now let's talk about, I've got a couple books here that I must read in July, and then after that it'll just be catching up on previous TBRs that I haven't gotten to yet. So let's talk about these books really quickly. A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. This is our Shelf Space Book of the Month that I'm hosting with Evie at She Was Only Evie and Stephanie at Miss Richards Reads. We are going to co-host a live show with this together. I can't wait. I've heard such amazing things about this book and this series. It's been on my TBR for a while now, and I can't wait to finally get to it. High King's Tomb, which is book 3 in the Green Riders series by Christian Britton. This was my patron pick of the month. Josephine won the patron's wheel spin for July, and she, not surprisingly, picked the next book in the Green Riders series, which I really need to get caught up on. So I will be getting caught up on at least book 3 in July. Blue Haven by Lisa King. This is a book that I'm reading as part of a book tour held by Eric at Break Even Books. This is, I believe, a science fiction book, and it sounded really, really interesting to me, so I can't wait to read this. My review for this one will be coming out towards the end of July, so stay tuned for that. And then the last book on my July TBR is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, and this is part of the Nerdy Narratives Wine and Crime Book Club. They convinced me to add it to my TBR just this morning, so I'm adding it in there, I'm jumping in, and we'll see how it goes from there. And then, of course, we have our Joan Didion Essay of the Month on Self-Respect, and I can't wait to continue more Joan Didion because y'all know how much I love her. So once I get through all of these books, then I'll go back and figure out where to start in the books that I'm behind on, because there's so many books I'm behind on. Last time I counted, not counting my June books, I'm 26 books behind. So I have a lot of catching up to do. My new goal for this year, for the rest of this year, is to just get caught up on all my TBRs. So we'll see how that happens. But that's my June wrap up and my July TBR. Like I said, let me know in the comments below what your favorite book you read in June was, what you're looking forward to reading the most in July. As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. If you want a chance to pick out a book from my TBR, books that I now am making priorities to get to in the month that they're picked for, join my Patreon. It's only $1 a month, and your name will get added to our wheel. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.